What you see?
Austin and David, because you guys have characters there. I'm not planning on role playing it tonight. We don't have. Bryan needed to go to sleep. He's here. I sent him to sleep. You're down to 1 flitter. However, you are due on reinforcements, at least air cover. The air cover was slow in coming, mainly because when you were down on one flitter, at some point the dragons seemed to ground. At least there was only one dragon you could keep track of. Short form, you do get extra air cover, extra flitters that get in, but by that time the army has withdrawn to the point that you reached a river. The good thing about a river is that it formed a good wall. Bad thing about a river was you could tell there were dragon forces on the other side, and getting further back is problematic. The bridges that you had in place had been destroyed. You're able to communicate with the flitters overhead. They inform you that the slower troop transports weren't able to get the dragons. 4 dragons had gone out, intercepted them, and the battle had not gone well. And they provide air cover as long as they can, but they need to go back and support the troop transports and find a way to punch through to pick you guys up. At that point, with your back to a river and rising casualties, with Alderon gone, Matthew consolidated the 501st and the 502nd and the 503rd into one division, effectively.
So 901st and 902nd should be in company.
Yeah. Helven noted that we had crossed in the retreat. He had successfully crossed what he called a stone boundary.
Elaborate.
There's anchor stones have geography that they're responsible for. And we have moved from one anchor stone to another anchor stone, and a large portion of their army is currently sitting on the other anchor stone. There is something I can do that I think will stop them, or at least give them pause. I can start it, and I can stop it.
I must roll dice to ensure, so that way I'll know this is not meta knowledge.
Nope, this is not hard.
7. So he looks at him. Says, you're going to be more specific than that.
I can make the anchor stone function as a weapon against our enemies.
No.
Unfortunately, I don't have a folder pamphlet handout or a training session that comes with it for you. But I can tell you that I can hurt the enemy right now and hopefully get them off our backs and have them kill us a little less.
So I know nothing about the background of this character. Is it pure Pallant Knight? How much mage training is? How much do people know about the anchor stones and the function of the grid?
You know they're there. There's not
so there's no outside of Peter, people who work with the forges, and maybe a handful of others. There's no real appreciation of the ludicrous amount of power involved in messing with an anchor stone.
It's how everything works.
I mean, we've seen people do amazing things with it. It's not like, oh, that's such a huge amount of energy, because we don't know that it's running at like 0.1% of nominal.
You do not. None of that knowledge is available at all. Austin has way more knowledge.
Yeah. The fact that I know that anchor stone can ramp.
The fact that you have lived through how many lives of people?
Yeah, I was like, and I know the anchor stone can ramp to at least 1,000 times what it's doing.
Yeah.
And not overload.
So
and now we flip that in reverse and expect that nothing will go wrong. So this would actually be the first. This is really the first true strategic weapon that Fahalen has seen since the Desolation War. So there's no protocol of
This is like, hey, we've got an atomic bomb that we can drop on Hiroshima. It'll take care of the city. One bomb, yes.
Sounds convenient.
Are there any downsides? Not really. None that we know of.
Yeah, there's that thing right there. It's like the
5% chance that it, ignites
set the
all the
atmosphere and burns
creates
the-
a chain reaction that lights the whole planet on fire. Side effects? No.
that was
Yes.
actually like
It's only
we may not have time. It's like I said, we may not have time for you to give me the seminar on it, but you can tell me risks and side effects.
We do not want to be within the circle. We do not want to be in the geographic circle of the anchor stone when it is turned on. What I'm going to do is, rather than having it pour out virtue, it is going to draw virtue, hopefully distracting the dragons and giving us a break from this. Which, by the way, as we're having this conversation, you're actively hearing gunfire. There are people dying on your side, that sort of thing.
I know. That's why I boiled it down to the sarcastic riposte and give me the 2 data points.
Yeah. I have an on switch and I have an off switch.
My character is the ranking general here.
Technically, the 2 ranking generals.
Who's in charge by date of rank?
Because
they've all left.
yeah, I'm putting you in charge because
I'm here.
You're here. Yeah.
He's there, and he had Christianus' flitter for a while.
Yes.
And it's just you are in
some
the
of
place.
Christianus rubbed off on you.
We have when we call the Christianus number, it either goes to voicemail or it goes to you. So
It's the artless school of giving power. Why? Why am I in charge here? Because you're here. This is why
Because you're
Matthew
here
got
and you're
put
not
in charge
dead.
of the peace talks.
Because you have opinions. You're alive and you can speak. You're alive, you can speak, you have opinions.
you're in the room and you're within range of my voice.
You're breathing.
Wow, we have a lot of there's a long list of qualifications here.
You swear to me on your life that we're out of range of what you're about to do, then do it.
The only problem is I do have to cross over enough to it to start it. I can do that, but I gotta go. I don't want to. The one thing I don't want to do is press R button. And so Helven armors up. You as a Pallant Knight see him not only turning on Baelm's, but throwing on his own shields. And he has to proceed to the front lines, and then he has to cross. He has to move effectively out of the.
Oh, I
trench.
know. That last roll is like, I'm pretty sure this character doesn't have a resolution of 16.
Oh.
So the 1600 is the fumbled right into the pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Please get taken out by a dragon. Thank you. Not you, Helven.
Oh, Helven. I'm like, what?
No.
And you nevertheless feel something happen when it happens.
Austin knows that the grid is a resonating self-supporting structure.
I hate this.
You're punching a hole in it.
Initially, you're like, "What is that?" And to a certain extent, it is unsettling to your stomach, because even where you're standing, you do feel a like a pressure shift. That
I set up pull back where it's like buffer from this mark, displace away from this mark, this distance, like
your virtue sight as you're out front line, gunfire going on with the defenses. You perceive the world about you is normally there is a background radiation of light. It goes dark. And the first thing you notice is a stuttering in gunfire. And then at a certain point, the gunfire stops. And you hear a dragon roar. You can, so where you're at, you can feel the flow. You realize that you have, throughout your life, you take it for granted, that there are ley lines, there's flows of virtue and everything. And it is as though you were standing, if you were standing in the Delta, and you had the river, the Sacramento River going by, but there was maybe Suisun Bay out there, and Stockton, is way behind and whatever, and all of a sudden, the water stopped flowing. And then reversed, and started all of it flowing upstream exactly towards one specific location. That's over there. You hear the dragon roar on the other side, and then all of a sudden there's a shift again. And this time,
Heads down!
this time, the anchor stone turns off. No gunfire from that direction. But the dragon said, no. Reset. Helven comes running back in and says, the dragon was able to stop it, but they're not shooting us.
I have a feeling
Is it a bad feeling?
that you got insanely lucky that a dragon shut it down. That was an absurd amount of energy that suddenly went all to one place.
I can turn it off. I can turn it on, and I can turn it off. The problem is, so can they. But they turn the whole stone off. When I turn it off, everything comes back up. When they turn it off, they shut the thing down for however many hours until they bring it back up again. But I care to point out, they're not shooting. And yeah, it is an absurd amount of power. You just sort of take for granted what you've got around you all the time.
I know this question applies more broadly than just you right now in this moment because of this whole mess that we're in right now. But have any of you morons at the top ever stopped thinking about if you could and processed whether or not you should?
That's a negative.
War finds a way.
The problem with war is they don't stay where you put them.
If you like being shot at, okay.
No, I don't.
Do I like being here? No. Do I want to have to use this? No. However, I'm watching a lot of men die around here. And this is the only thing I have that can keep us alive. If you've got something better, put it on the table and let's use it.
That drained all the Bayonne capacity.
Not in...
I mean, so the guns, so whose gun was it? Our guns? No, okay.
Guns on their side of the line.
Right, because they have,
Now,
right, because they
not-
have the
yeah.
stolen weapon, I forgot.
Yeah, we are, both sides are equipped at this point, and they are using their they're fighting. So
that means, so all the capacitors in their weapons just got drained to zero.
or we're draining. We don't know.
Yeah.
The dragon, as far as Helven having a super weapon that he can go ha 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 and hold the button down until you're gone and then take it off, the dragons have the ability to go, nope.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Austin and the character don't believe for a minute that he has as much control of it as he thinks. Yeah, Austin, for reasons of knowing more about the system, and the character for going, that's the first time anyone's deployed anything remotely like that. There's no way you've actually tested it.
Well, the first test was, from his perspective, a success.
Yeah, so he doesn't know if he can actually turn it off. Which I suspect we will discover whether or not he is in error at precisely the worst moments.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Every worst moment put together.
So
A string of the worst moments.
Season is.
So at this point, word of Christianus and Arliss has not obviously come back to us, so since I'm not actively being shot, compose a report and fire it off to Christianus, and
It's about that time you finish your report and you punch the send button that you have a badink message from Christianus.
Oh,
Okay.
that.
I view it. Is it the video?
It's the video.
I guess
It's
I'm
everything
taking
up until they
Arliss
fight,
off
right?
of my CC list for tactical weapons.
One less, and I'm not reporting to you, and you're not getting any triplicates.
I was already a bit miffed at His Highness for disappearing and then his division taking all of our heavy lift with it.
I think you've got plenty. You've got grounds from here to.
I've got ground for beef.
Yeah, you got major grounds for beef.
Like a whole ranch.
You beat me to it by that much.
Yes.
Grass fed.
Acres and acres.
Anyway, that was
Well, that was exciting.
exciting. At another place,